Yes, people, nice one for coming back to the Fuse UK. It's much appreciated as always. Got a special guest down today, all the way from Birmingham. Middleweight top three in the UK. George Thorpe, what's happening, bro?
Oh, good, mate, you?
Yeah, spot on, mate. Nice one for coming down, mate.
Man, no worries.
And
See ya.
I was wondering, we'll start this podcast going right back to where it all first started, where you grew up. Tell us a bit about your younger days.
I started fighting when I was about 10, 11 because I was small. I was a really small lad. Used to affect my confidence quite a bit. Like, women weren't interested, you know what I mean? Because I was that small. And yeah, I was just really affected my confidence. So obviously I had a bit of a chip on my shoulder, a little bit of little man syndrome. And I had a growth spurt at about 16. Bullied in primary school because of my height and I was small. Very, it kind of gave me a little fire in my belly to start fighting really and protect myself,
Yeah. Were you doing any sports when you were younger, in primary and that, like combat sports?
No, I was more like into like football and stuff, but I was shit at it. I had two left feet, so
But you've always been like, had that fire in you, like to go to a fight type of thing.
yeah, like, mainly because it's like just it's a rough area, Birmingham. You know what I mean? And during school, I was getting bullied quite a bit, and then I got kicked out of school actually.
Just primary or secondary?
Primary. For reacting to being bullied. Obviously, I just had enough one day and I thought, fuck it, you're getting it. Took it over the top and then I got kicked out and then went to a nice little Catholic school.
But when you started, like, sort of sticking up for yourself in school and getting the lads back, did you see, like, a change in people's attitude towards you going into secondary?
Yeah, kind of, but at the same time, like, everyone's always they always just assume the way you look, you can't handle yourself, do you know?
Yeah.
Obviously, I was still small at this point. I had a growth spurt when I left school at about 16.
Yeah.
But I was really, really small.
Crazy, mate. All the way through secondary as well, you were small.
Yeah, I was like fighting. Well, I was fighting, but I was probably losing most of the fights. But I was still having a go, and that's what it's about, getting stuck in and just having a go. What about your heart?
Yeah, 100%. And what did you do when you left school? Did you go into college and that?
I was joining the army. I wanted to be in the parachute regiment. Well, I got medically deferred through my nose. I couldn't breathe out. It was like a sinus issue.
Yeah.
And then obviously I couldn't join the paras. So then I got a job scaffolding, which I hate. Well, I still do it now. I work for myself, but it's a shit job.
Is it a family trade thing, like the scaffolding, or is it something that you just decided to go into yourself?
Yeah, it's a family thing. It's quite like a rough and job no one really wants to do, really. But obviously, it's just a family thing. When my granddad come over from Ireland, it's the only job he could get. So here I am
job
now.
though in the scaffolding. It's not as if it's a bad job. It's a well-paid job.
Yeah, it's well paid. Well, it's a lot of graft and it's a lot of hard work.
So, what age was it when G started going out, mixing it about with the lads in the town and that on the drink?
Like 16, really.
Were you like drinking before 16, like when you're like in the park and that with your friends?
Bits and bobs, yeah. I was quite like I used to train quite a lot. Like I was a fitness freak because I was joining the army.
Yeah.
And then obviously when I got deferred from the army, I just started going down to football and stuff. When growing up, most people wanted to be a footballer. I wanted to be a football hooligan. But that didn't go down too well. I went to Charlton away when I was 16. Battered, threw in the back of a police van and then started crying like a little kid. So yeah, the football hooligan side didn't go down well. I thought I'd get into boxing after that, and then I just started boxing. And then obviously I seen a few of the lads like Ricky Nalder and stuff in the BKB, and I just thought I'd have a go at that. That looks a bit of me.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of good bare knuckle fighters from down your ways. But when you were going out into the town, like actually, because Birmingham's a rough old gaff, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, it's a shit. Oh yeah.
And when you're going into like the nightclubs and that, how old were you when you started like nightclubbing and that?
About 17, 18. I was going out with older lads, and they was up to all sorts. So like, I'll be going out with them, and I was seeing what they were up to, and I think, fucking hell, this is a bit of me. This is
class. And were you fighting much on nights out?
Yeah and no, but you'll never ever see me fight unless it's for the right reason. So like, I've always been brought up like, you fight when you're in the right, you can never lose. Whether you get battered or not, if you fight for the right reasons. So you'd never see me just starting fights, but I used to have like wear my heart on my sleeve. So like, I'd see certain things and I'd just be like, I don't like that. You know what I mean? Like people bullying people and stuff like that. It's just, set a little trigger off, and I get very passionate about it. So I don't know, just getting involved, which I shouldn't, and then dragging myself into it. And Birmingham's just a rough place in general.
Yeah, it is. Like,
I don't like going out there no more. I'd rather go to Liverpool or anywhere else.
yeah, you said
Newcastle.
that before. And obviously, moving on after the nightclubbing and that, when did you first get into like traveling and doing bits like? Because I know you travel around the world, mate.
Do you know what it was? I'd never been abroad till I was 18. You know, not saying that my mum looked after us, was cared, loving. No, she couldn't afford to like go take 3 of us away.
Yeah.
So we used to go to like Devon. To be honest, they're probably my best holidays.
Yeah, that's what we used to go to Torquay and places like that.
It's classy. You can't get them back. But it's just, when I was 18, I got the bug. I went to Tenerife once, and that was it then. I was just like, it's more to life than just staying in the same area. And I want to travel and meet new things, meet new people. Do you know what I mean? I've met loads of friends through travelling for the BKFC as well. Do you know, going from countries like yourself and other lads.
Yeah, we're going back to that. When you go to them type of holidays when you were young, and you know, like Devon and that, and they're like them like haven type sites. Is that what you mean? Like,
yeah, they were like
they're the best holidays ever, mate. Ever.
They make you appreciate.
You pull on every one of them as well, don't you? Butlins and that.
Yeah, class. I do love good butlins. The 80s weekenders and stuff like that. They're wicked. They're just down to earth people. There's no pretentiousness, and it's a bit of me, that is.
Fucking fortune as well, mate.
Yeah.
But going back to the holidays, like abroad and that, have you got any mad stories from when you've been abroad with the lads? Must have had a few mad altercations.
We've had, loads, like run-ins with the mafia in Croatia. You know, just cheeky, like, you know.
Tell us that one about Benidorm. Backer and that.
Oh, so I end up taking a few birds back. They've got a bit handy in the room, so I threw her out in the room. She was basically giving us a bit of grief, so I threw her out. Obviously, they've touched her a lot. I just threw her out the room. She got a bit of chip on her shoulder. The next day, she smashed my phone up the wall, so I was raging. So I threw her out the room, said, just get out of my room. Anyway, next morning, we're down... next day, I'm drinking, I'm having a drink, talking to a few girls at the bar. Next thing you know, all I seen was a glass just come flying at me, and I was just like, what the fuck is that? It almost blinded me, to be honest. My mates end up giving her a slap, which he shouldn't have. The bouncers have caught onto it and then literally just kicked the shit out of us. But then the next day was like kind of a bit like nervous to walk up the strip. But I want to say, like, I was in fetal position, getting my head kicked in. We walked up the strip the next day, and they've literally just come up to us like, you come in. And I was just like, oh, for fuck's sake. And they're like, oh, we didn't see what happened. And it was shaking us our hand, and it was just like 3 drinks all night. I was thinking, fucking hell, same time tomorrow.
But they ring each other, don't they? Like,
yeah, it was literally like
from everywhere.
Like the final boss game, you know, whistling waves of people. And I was just like, fuck me, another load. And like the Spartan kicked my mate, and he was literally like off his feet in his hand. You know, like in the movies, I was just like looking at him thinking, wow.
Fucking hell, class. And what was the one that you had involvement with the mafia?
It was in Croatia, and the taxi driver took the piece, basically, doubled the fare for no reason. He was like, oh, fuck yeah, we're not paying you. You know, bit cheeky and stuff like that, saying, fuck yeah, you're not getting nothing. And then about 10 minutes later, we're seeing with a load of, like, he just pulled off the track, started driving, we're all getting thrown about. We're thinking, what the fuck's going on? He's parked up in the middle of the lanes, and we're like, what are you doing? And the next thing you know, a lot of fucking cars driving in the headlights, and I'm thinking, fuck, next thing I was like, fuck, that will pay you triple. We'll just get us. So in the end, we fucking paying like double, like, quadruple what we should have paid him, and just literally no one said a word the whole way home. We knew what was coming because he was in the middle of nowhere, and it was just loads of cars coming down the beaten track, like something off a film, like something off Rise of the Foot Soldier. I was just like, fuck this. You just don't fuck about abroad, do you? But
no, do you?
When you're drunk, you make stupid decisions.
Yeah, you do, mate. And where's the best place you've been?
Probably Las Vegas or Thailand. Yeah, Thailand was good, but they're different holidays. You see, like Thailand wasn't. I was barely drinking.
Yeah,
different experience, and then Vegas is just mental.
Didn't you say Cuba was shit?
Cuba was a beautiful place. Like, it was a good holiday, but in terms of like, I lost a stone and a half because the food was shit.
Fuck.
It was just literally like waking up hungry and still not wanting to eat. Still not wanting to eat. It was just terrible. Like, do you know?
Yeah.
It just makes you appreciate.
Like?
It's like a communist country, so everything's like, there's no imports. It's all Cuban made, and it was just like dreadful. You know, it sounds a bit snobby to say. It makes you realise what you've got. Like, you know, it was like brutal. stone and a half in 2 weeks. I lost.
Fucking hell. And when did you decide to get into like comp? I know you just said them, but break it down a bit more about when you got into the boxing and that. When did the offer and that come along, or when did the interest come along?
So the boxing, I went to a local gym down by me and just thought I'll have a go at this. And then I was boxing for a bit, but then I was kind of on off drinking and I was getting pissed during amateurs and white collars. Like I was literally turning up wrecked. And then I just.
When did you have your first fight?
I think I was about 16, 17. So I think I'd been training 3 weeks and the guy just said, "Do you want to fight?" It's just like one of them things off the end of, like, he knew I could sell a load of tickets. He was like, "Fuck that, you can fight." But he asked me in front of a load of people. And to be honest, I'm glad I did because I won the fight. But like, I was proper kind of, I was stitched up, to be honest. But then I ended up battering the, he was a traveller lad. I ended up battering him. And then I felt a bit sorry for him because then his own old man was trying to batter him for losing. I thought, fucking hell. I proper give him a hard time, like, but he's a good lad now. I still speak to the lad now, but yeah, it was. I just thought I'd have a go because I was drinking too much and get fit and stuff like that, and then obviously learn to fight properly. You know, it's all right throwing a few digs on a night out, but you know what I know now. You know, like taking a step back from certain situations, you kind of teaches you how to actually fight. But you think you can fight until you can fight someone that can fight.
How did you feel when you went into your first boxing bout?
I was shitting myself.
Yeah.
I probably had about 10 shits on the way before I fucking had it. I was literally like shaking but it's like a good nerves, you know. I wasn't scared of the fight because I couldn't give a fuck about the fight. I've had worse stuff that happened to me. It's just more the fact of people watching, you sold tickets, it's your pride, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you can be the greatest boxer in the world, you lose one fight and then the whole world just turns on you. Do you know what I mean? Oh, you shit, you lost the fight. You're just like, are you get in the ring then?
Yeah, it's right, mate. You have a lot of pressure on the shoulders as fighters going in the ring, don't you?
Yeah, they don't see the stuff behind, like making weight, selling tickets. There's a lot of stuff behind that people don't realise. It's quite hard.
Did you have any mad fights in unlicensed or anything?
I fought people like way overweight and stuff, and like been stitched up. And to be honest, I come out quite on top. Like I just adapted. Some of them I lost, some of them I won, and then I just kind of lost a love for it, to be honest. That's why I got into bare knuckle. You need to get up and train for this. You can't just turn up pissed. Then you get yourself found out. You're knocked out in front of anyone on the zone.
Was that your bare knuckle debut in Sheffield?
No, I had one for the Gloves Are Off, which are now called the Welsh Combat Series. Rocky Morgan and Craig, Sean Seary, I think.
Right. And when you had your bare knuckle debut, did it feel a lot different when you were going into the boxing?
Yeah, I was in New York with Connor for his Jeremiah Riggs, Jeremiah Riggs for his debut. Obviously, our coach couldn't go for obviously visa purposes. From for you. But obviously, I done my visa and I went on his kind of, you know.
Yeah, talk a bit about that trip anyway, because it was
surreal. Like the Americans do it completely different to the UK. It's just like we had a chauffeur and fucking was out partying the night before the fight. Kind of shouldn't have been, but you know we had a few drinks and whatnot. But he was just like, absorbing the experience.
Yeah,
you know what
it was
I mean?
massive, wasn't it?
It was massive. Like it was a crazy holiday. Like it was just amazing. Like that's the goal for me now. That's when I first thought, you know what, I want a piece of this because I was fighting for the Gloves Are Off 3 weeks later. So I flew to New York with Connor. He won the fight. Then I flew to Mexico because I was meant to be on a holiday.
Yeah.
And then literally about a week later, I was fighting the Gloves Are Off bare knuckle, and I won the fight. But you know, it made me think, you know what, I want to be where Connor is on BKFC. So I kind of knuckled down after that fight. Well, I still drink and party, obviously, but it's if I've got a fight announced camp, I won't be partying. I'll just be getting my head down and training.
Yeah, and obviously you moved on. You had a fight on BFBA, and then you had your BKFC debut. How did it feel actually getting on the BKFC stage? And
that was like surreal. Like it's what I wanted to do. You know, like literally, I think it was a year. I think it was bang on a year and a week or so. Like from when I went away with Connor to New York, and I just thought, you know what, I'm on track to be where I want to be. Yeah,
it's fucking crazy, mate. Because that Crystal Palace show was a good show as well, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Was Crystal Palace your debut, wasn't
it? I
think against Jamie Hendry.
Yeah, Gary Fox made his debut there as well.
Yeah.
There's a few lads that made the debut. It was a good show, and you just saw the levels of where it's going. You know what I mean? It's better now than what it was at Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
So it's just, it's only getting better. Do you know, it's just showing the levels of the show.
And the two opponents you've had are like basically they're the type of opponents you don't really want. I hear who come swinging and wild and everything. And
Yeah,
you've dealt with them comfortably, man.
do you know what? Like, I haven't shown anyone my ability yet in terms of like the boxing. Once I take control and start boxing, you'll see a different side. Like, but I've had to kind of adapt, overcome, jump on the back foot, and like just change my game plan really. And they've been quite like hard opponents to have as your first. They're quite wild and
Yeah, that's what I mean. You can't really train for people like them, can you?
they're the worst kind of opponents for me. They're kind of like not saying I can't beat them because obviously I've adapted, but I like people that you can box. I'll take control. If we're boxing, I'll show my boxing ability and the pedigree, like, you know.
Yeah, 100%. Do you think a lot of the middleweights and that underestimate you, George?
Yeah, a lot of people underestimate me, but I like it. You know, people walk around with a target on the back. I'll just go under the radar, and then next thing you know, you're looking at the rankings, and I'll be champ.
Yeah, because I know. There's been a lot of talks between you fighting Aaron Blakey.
Yeah.
I know you're like pals and you talk on
Yeah.
a respectful level and that, but you really want to fight each other, don't you?
Yeah, because when we want to get to the top, I know Blakey's a good opponent to beat, and obviously he knows I'm a good opponent to beat. But I don't think anyone in the division. I think the hardest test is probably pick Jardine, but I think I'll beat him. You know what I mean? Like people, excuse me. You know, people. You look on your body, like mechanics and body mechanics, and like I can box, I can go forward, I can work in the clinch. Both my knockdowns have been from the clinch. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm long limbed, people assume that I'm just going to be on the outside. I can also work the inside. I can do a lot of other stuff than what you've seen. Do you know what I mean? So my game plan, I'll bring the game plan on the day, and I'll beat everyone in the middle in the weight.
Do you think Aaron Blakey especially underestimates you? He's confident he can finish you, isn't he?
I like that. I like the confidence. I'm confident in my ability. He's confident in his ability, but I don't think anyone in the division's finishing me. I think I'll be finishing the division. I reckon I'll beat that Red Mundell as well.
Red Dave Mundell.
Yeah, I think his style. You know, he's quite. He's kind of boxed on the back foot and then kind of comes forward. I think if Christie would have boxed on the back foot, I think he would have beat Mundell, counter-punched him.
Yeah.
Christie's a good fighter, man. Gutted that he's retired as well. He's a very good fighter, entertaining to watch.
Big up Danny Christie. But the middleweight division's fucking wide open, isn't it, really? It's a spicy division for you.
Yeah, I think it's one of the hardest in the in all of the rankings, really. The division, the competition there. Like.
What's the crack with your hand now? When we're next going to see you out?
I'm thinking early April, May. Obviously, as you can see from my eye, I've just started sparring again, which I probably shouldn't have because it's kind of aggravated my hand a bit too early. But I'm just going to strengthen them up now and then keep fit and then start my camp probably January, February. And then I'm ready to go and smash everyone up.
Yeah, who are you hoping to have for you? I know you'll have anybody in the middleweight division, but who are you hoping the next fight is against?
Blakey. Yeah, I want Blakey. It's good, man. You know, we're good friends. It just sells the kind of Rico situation. Me, Blakey, you know, they're from the same kind of area. I'm from the same gym as Connor.
Yeah.
I think this fight sells. It'd be a good entertaining fight. And I don't think it's going to be an easy fight. I will beat him confidently, but I don't think I know no fight's easy. You know what I mean? As you seen with the Ben Bonner Lewis Keane, I thought Lewis Keane would wipe the floor of him. No disrespect to Ben Bonner, and he proved people wrong. You know, take your eye off the ball for 1 second, and that's what happens.
What was your thoughts on the Newcastle card?
Probably one of the best I've been to, really, if not the best.
Some show, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Do you know what? The last Newcastle show, that was the best one I've seen. And
yeah, that's one that I mean, yeah.
And then the one before that, that one, that was the best one I've seen until I went to the last Newcastle show.
Yeah,
so they're both kind of outdone themselves, you know.
Yeah.
So fair credits to the Newcastle boys, you know.
It was good to see McGregor and that come as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that topped it off as well. Obviously, just on the up, isn't it?
Yeah, and who impressed you the most on that card?
I think probably that Aggie Faulkner. I kind of underestimated him, to be honest.
Yeah.
I thought I wouldn't say his last two fights were easy, not by no means. You know, Craig Cunningham was a decent opponent. I thought there wasn't as obviously good as him, which obviously showed, and then obviously I've seen the levels. It was good. Not only that, David Oscar, he's just fucking it's a harbour liner. He's what you aspire to be. You know what I mean? If you're a man, you keep getting back up, and
yeah,
he's fucking crazy.
Some fucking fight that, like, I was just looking around and all the crowd were just like proper shocked and that.
I've never I've never really been like a person to be like, I was literally like hands on my head looking at my trainer because we drove up thinking, what the fuck?
Yeah, fucking some show. Like they're the nights you want, and they're the nights you want to be watching
Yeah.
as a bare knuckle fan.
If you're tuning in for the first time to Bare Knuckle and watching that show, you're hooked for life, you know.
Who else have you, not just on that show, who else is impressing you in like in the BKFC UK? Who do you think's en route to the world title?
Connor might not keep me saying it, but Franco impressed me against Trout, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know, that last round, it was like he'd go all out, and I kind of like that. I thought, you know what, fair play to Franco. He's fucking, that last, he's proper stuck it on Trout. And
Yeah, that's what
honest,
because people thought Trout was going to wipe Franco out, didn't they?
Yeah.
People, like, when I was speaking in the background, a lot of people, there was people obviously backing Rico, but a lot of people thought it was going to be too much for Rico.
Yeah. I did, to be honest. You know, your man's been there with Canelo, ex-WBO champion, is it?
WBA.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, there's levels to the game, and the last round, he proper stuck it. I'm sure I've seen Trout's legs go a little bit. I did wobble him. Kind of probably tell me to shut up, but...
But even that show, going back to Marbella, even again, what an experience that was, mate.
Yeah, that was surreal. Just everyone from the UK was there. You know, a lot of the fighters are there. It was good. Definitely one of the best shows I've been to in terms of, not the fights. The fights were good, but wasn't better than Newcastle's fights. But the whole experience, the hype surrounding around it, the whole DAZN deal, that's just set the levels in it.
Is that something that you were going to be aiming to do in the future, getting one of these European cards?
Yeah, definitely. Fighting abroad's where everyone wants to be. I don't think I'd take a bout over fighting abroad, because with the bout comes them fights. But
yeah,
at the same time, I'd love to fight abroad.
Yeah, and what was I going to say there? Once you've got the UK title as well, you hope, like, what they normally do is put you into the actual BKFC world rankings, don't they?
Yeah.
And who else do you see, like, other than in the UK, as a good fight for you? If you were to fight in Europe?
I'd say, he's American, is it? Cotcherain or something like that? I don't know how to pronounce his name. So.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, I'd like to fight one of those, because he's in the top 5 rankings. I'd like to fight. Just anyone who's a top 5 opponent. I'd say the only really test, really, probably Vic Jardine. He's good. You can see that his body's built for the game, you know, the way he fought Kroll.
Good fight, that one, on the Newcastle card.
It was a cracking fight, yeah. I think Kroll was getting the better of him in the first round, but obviously picked Jardine's fitness, and he just come through and done the job, didn't he? Excited to see him off towards the end of the fight. Yeah,
because it was a big fight for him, that one, for his first fight. Obviously, be fighting Bar Kroll, that was a bit like a big task.
It goes to show, like, that, you know, he's highly regarded in terms of, like, his ability to go in there straight away.
I don't think I might be wrong, but I don't think he's been beat in boxing, has he?
I'm not sure. I've watched a bit of his boxing. Yeah, he's a good little fighter. You can see his body type. He's just built for bare knuckle, way he fights. But
yeah,
be interesting fight. I'd like that fight as well. Any fight, I'd fight anyone. Fuck it. It's in a day, it's a fight. We're fighters. If it'd be wrong to say, like, that no fighter would turn it down. It's not really the fighters that turn fights down. It's your coaches.
Yeah.
When you take a step away from certain situations, you think, fucking hell, I was probably out of my depth there. But as a fighter, you just say yes to everything.
Yeah, of course. That fighter's mentality, isn't it?
Yeah.
And with everything that's been happening with DAZN, McGregor, all these big things, it give you more of like a kick up the arse, more fire in your belly to want to do better things within the BKFC.
Yeah, I literally, like, I come back from the Marbella show, and I was just like, this is just where I want to be. So you come back and you start training harder, and you start thinking, you know what, this is, you know, not eating certain foods, and kind of gets in your mind. Obviously, I'm a bit kind of hindered at the moment. There's only so much I can do with my hands, but you know, for sure, I've come back from, like, even the last Newcastle show, I come back and I thought, fuck me, I want to get back in there. I'm itching to have a go. Like,
it's good though that your hands are actually healing up, because I thought they were going to be bad, but it's good to know that he's like hitting the bags and doing bits of sparring and that now.
Yeah, I'm strengthening them up because I've got fucking paper mache hands by the looks of it. So, yeah, just want to get them strong. And
doesn't help when you're fighting people like Conan Barbaro. Like,
do you know what? He's like a wild card, very underestimated, a very hard opponent. Like, excuse me, I don't think he knew what he was throwing, so he made it harder for me.
Yeah.
So I've had to kind of.
He doesn't even look to it. He's put that head down in the swing.
And like he'd like be from there, and he would get to there within like close the distance. So I had to kind of box a bit different than normal do, and sit further back and like kind of. I wasn't able to engage as well with my hands, so it was even worse, especially if someone's wildly coming at you. But
Yeah.
they taught quite well, really, to kind of adapt with 2 broken hands and kind of seeing the fight through.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
And what can we expect to see from George Thorpe on his next outing for BKFC?
A big knockout.
Big
knockout,
knockout.
big win. Lots of partying after. Amateur.
Do you think this fight can happen then? Do you think this is going to be the next fight, George Thorpe versus Aaron Blakey?
I believe so, yeah. It all depends on how the fights pan out, really. Obviously, Blakey's ready to go before I'm ready to go with my hands. Then he might have another fight before. I don't know, but I'd imagine that this is the fight to make, really. It makes sense.
Yeah, it definitely does, mate. I hope it does get made. BKFC, if you're listening, let's get this fight made. What time? April?
I believe, yeah. I think back for about April. Yeah, I think, I don't know where it'd be like, but if I can get it anyway.
Perfect timing, mate. And before we wrap it up, mate, is there any sponsors, shout-outs, anything else you want to share with us?
Shout out to yourself. You know, you took a lot of time out to us all, giving us the credit. All of Fitness Factory, Silverback CBD.
Oh, yeah, big shout Silverback CBD. The man, the legend.
Mark. Shout out myself. So I'm a fucking G.
Yeah, mate, you definitely are.
Shout out all the lads at BKFC. They're all, do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, we all get on, really. There's not many people that don't get on with BKFC. We're all just trying to get to the top, fight, and share the journey, really.
And if anyone wants any scaffolding done,
yes, safe short scaffolding. Nothing safe about it. Cheers, mate.
Nice one, mate. Thanks for coming down, brother.
Anytime.